Lost in all of the Jeremiah Fears discussions that we have been having in the last 2 weeks since his decommitment from Illinois is the fact that Jeremiah Fears is an insanely skilled offensive basketball player. And I think it's time we remind ourselves of that.
Yeah, this is the thing. Everyone says that until you mention that he's reclassing, and then everyone forgets that he actually is really good. Like he's a bucket.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's discuss it. The reason, well, or the latest is that yesterday, Jeremiah Fears had another superstar performance at Peach Jam. For the Indy Heat, he finished with 20 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. They won by 2 points. And most importantly, Brad Beal was there. Bradley Beal was sitting courtside watching his Brad Beal, I think it's Brad Beal Elite team take on the Indy Heat. So Jeremiah Fears, I mean, essentially was the best player on the floor in front of Bradley Beal at Peach Jam. And I think it was Jeremiah's dad and some other people made note. He had 3 different 4-point plays in a
Yeah.
game. Weird little anomaly. Like you can't just cook up when you're going to get fouled, but like it must have been weird watching that unfold. Like repeatedly, they just kept fouling him on threes and he hits them.
Yeah, I mean, one Brad Beal Elite not does not teach closeouts properly. That's what I got from the video. But I don't think I've ever seen a game at any level where a guy hits that many and one threes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Crazy.
nice. The tape was really good. You can watch the footage of this. A lot of the big like content aggregator sites are really making note of this for the first time. We've talked about like why is everyone so quiet on Jeremiah Fears in the last couple of weeks. Today, the last 24 hours were allowed 24 hours for Jeremiah. He was awesome at Peach Jam in front of Bradley Beal. There's video. Bradley Beal goes over to him, daps him up after, and is like, respect, young fellow. He earned that, and he's great. Courtside Films just put the highlights up from yesterday. Obviously, that's a huge account. So making the rounds of like, he was really, really good last night. He also had some comments on why he left Illinois. And I think by my eye and ear, I think this is one of the first times he's sort of spoken publicly on why he departed. We've assumed a lot of this, but he told Zag's blog, this was Sam Lance writing for Zag's blog. Jeremiah told them it was just something I talked about with my family. We felt like it was an opportunity to explore. I feel like I kind of committed early as well. So that was one of the main factors. And then I just felt like there were other options. So we've been exploring other options right now. Um, Not anything crazy to take away from that quote. Didn't really speak to the reclassifying portion of this, but did speak to the concept of I have a lot of other options. And then they went through in this article on Zach's blog, they went through all the programs that have reportedly reached out to him. And you can read them. I'll just read the names: UConn, Arkansas, Kentucky, Michigan State, Kansas, Providence, Michigan, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Arizona State. A lot of schools there. We've done videos on a lot of these schools and their interest in Jeremiah. I still will say strongly, I believe a lot of these schools don't have serious interest in Jeremiah. There may have been a phone call. I don't think there's a lot of active recruitment from some of these. And without giving too much away, because I want you to go read the article, let's just pick out our schools and see what he said about those two cards. Jeremiah said about Michigan State. My brother's there. Coach Izzo, great guy. It's a great program. Jeremy sometimes talks to me about it, but not much. Okay, so he's not going to Michigan State. How about Michigan? Michigan was nice. It's a new coaching staff. I got to get to know them a little more and just speak briefly with them about playing time, the situation, stuff like that. Yeah, the brief conversation was, I want 30 minutes. And Dusty was like, no, thanks. That's the conversation. So that one's not happening. You can go read all the other quotes. There are various levels of seriousness to them, but it's interesting to hear Jeremiah's thoughts on all of these for sure. And there's one that I would pick out from this list that, based on quotes alone, I think I know where Jeremiah's headed, Cart.
Let's hear it.
Here's the quote: just seeing the opportunity they would have, stuff like that. Head coach is a great guy. He reached out, called me twice. He was just basically telling me the opportunity about the facilities and that they want me to come down for a visit. Multiple times mentioned in that quote, opportunities, opportunities, the role, opportunities. That's what Jeremiah wants. The head coach that I skipped the name of is Porter Mosier. The school is Oklahoma. I think that's where this is headed, Cart.
Yeah, that was one of the first schools that was mentioned when he first entered the portal. And look, we went through the exercise of schools on the list where that can provide what Jeremiah wants and needs given the timing and the situation. And Oklahoma is one of the few schools I think that does provide what he needs and what he wants out of this reclass. So it makes sense given his needs. Um, I have, I mean, I got serious questions about like Oklahoma's roster and everything else around him, but it, it does the one thing that he wants. I think it gives him, like you said, the opportunity that he wants, the ball in his hands a lot, and he's going to play a lot.
I'm gonna say this. Say this again. I think lost in all our discussions, and I've ripped Jeremiah Fears in the last couple of weeks. I've ripped the family. I've not liked where this is headed. I think they've done him a disservice. Lost in all of this, and I need to remember this. I believe Jeremiah Fears is an incredibly gifted offensive player. And if he ends up at Oklahoma next year on a wide open team that wants him to be the featured guard, I think he'll be pretty good. Like, I'm not saying he'll be an All-American. I'm not saying he'll be a star, but I think he'll be good. And Oklahoma will get their money's worth. And then maybe next offseason we reevaluate. Is it time for the NBA? Is it time to look elsewhere? Am I staying at Oklahoma? You know?
Yeah, so that's one thing too that even I think I forget because like, look, Jeremiah's a hooper. At the end of the day, he's a hooper. The dude can go for sure. Like that's not even up for argument in my opinion. Um, but like given the new age of college basketball, the worst outcome of this situation, like worst case scenario, is that it goes pretty bad in Oklahoma, right? There's still a world where Jeremiah Fears moves on after that and probably leverages himself another bag and go somewhere else after this year. And it'd be just like him doing the whole stay. It'd be like just like him staying in the class of 25. Now his stock might be lower given his play. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just talking worst case scenario here. So it could end up working out at the end of the day. And also like maybe even let's look at this positively. What if he just goes and just kills? There's a world where that happens.
Yeah, there is. And I don't want to forget that world, is all I'm saying. And I think the performance against Brad Beal Elite, followed by the dap up of Brad Beal, is a good reminder that he's still one of the best guards in the sport.
Yeah. Can I be critical one more time though?
Sure.
Not a fan of the 4-point celebrations. We didn't get it. All we got was like double fist pump. I didn't get any of the stuff like the 1, 2, 3, and then wait for the 4. I would have liked that. That's it.
Yeah. Car, you know what I love about you?
That I'm handsome?
You're reliable. I can count on you. You know, honestly, you remind me of Aaron Henry a little bit. Remember when, like, you know, their back was against the wall, nothing was going right, and man just showed up every day. He didn't make excuses. There were no problems. There were just solutions.
Sounds like me.
That's you. And it also reminds me of Duncan Mechanical Solutions, because if you're looking for quality furnace repair, look no further than the heating and air experts that you can trust. Comfort and quality are their standard. They're an HVAC company that serves Northeast Indiana and Southern Michigan, whether it's heating and air conditioning, plumbing, kitchen and bath remodeling, or emergency services when you need them most. Duncan Mechanical Solutions has reliable service that you can count on. Cart, remember when your basement almost exploded?
I remember when my basement almost exploded. I remember when my furnace itself was acting funny. I remember when my AC was acting funny. I wish I had Duncan in my back pocket. I wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been anywhere in northern Indiana or southern Michigan that hasn't been perfectly cool or perfectly warm, depending on when the day called for. And that's because of Duncan Mechanical Solutions. They are the presenting sponsor for the month of July. Shout out to Duncan Mechanical Solutions. Go to duncanmechanicalsolutions.com to learn more.